all surveys suggest that the Prime Minister remains individually the most popular politician. Good
By
evening,
miles,
Amit.
by miles, by
By
miles.
miles, by miles. I think the most recent Sea Voter survey suggested that 73 percent and a little above that actually believe that the Modi government had done a satisfactory job, and his personal ratings have only, in a sense, improved. And the difference and the gap is a lot between him and Rahul Gandhi, though Rahul Gandhi's ratings have somewhat improved since in the last few years and since 2019, and the surveys reflect that as well. My question to you is, and you've said this, the BJP will want to make 24 presidential about Modi. The opposition is going to try and make it, local, treat every constituency like it's an aggregate of a state election. Here's my question. Do you see a new pattern in the sort of opposition uniting to boycott the BJP, whether at the Niti Aayog or at the inauguration of the Parliament House? And what does the BJP need to be concerned about when it sees that?
Well, certainly the opposition is doing its utmost to ensure that it puts up a united opposition face to the BJP. It's certainly trying that, and it's also trying to ensure that at least there is as far as possible, there is a one-on-one contest involving the most dominant opposition party in every state, maybe every constituency, everything. It's a very localized, patchy strategy, but the only strategy which they can realistically have under the circumstances. What the BJP needs to do is, number one, the BJP needs to have a coherent narrative which doesn't waver. That's one thing. Because the opposition will try to use caste.
But
They
what
will
is the
try to use
narrative? BJP's narrative is Mr. Modi.
Mr. Modi, but not merely Mr. Modi, but what does Mr. Modi stand for? And I think that's very important. That it's a form of nationalism, you can say. It's a form of nationalism which is backed up by a solid record of governance. And now how that slogan will translate, I don't know. That's for the copywriters to evolve that. That's not for me. But the overall thrust is that. Whereas the opposition rhetoric is bound to change from state to state, from region to region, from even constituency to constituency. And that incoherence, that khichdi aspect, which we used to hear about in the 1980s, that has to also be highlighted. I think at present there's not really too much of the BJP can only lose this election.
Explain that.
It's
You mean it's theirs for the taking? I mean, the question is whether yeah,
it's there for the taking. There are other factors like overconfidence. There's also getting the message a little wrong, as happened in 2004 during the last Vajpayee election. Those things have to be taken care of in every way. But overall, I think as long as the narrative is there, as long as as long as you push it as a presidential election, and of course you take into account various things like localized anti-incumbency of in individual MPs, you have to change a lot of people, etc. These things will have to be addressed naturally. That in any election that's there. But as of now, whether the Karnataka defeat or whatever happens in Madhya Pradesh or Chhattisgarh, I think by and large, the BJP looks to be on the front foot.
There was a time when the BJP completely caricatured Rahul Gandhi, dismissed him as a pappu, would have wanted a Modi versus Rahul sort of battle, because it's a battle in which Modi could only come out tops, and the surveys still reflect a major gap in the popularity of the two as individuals. But there's been some repairing. I use the word carefully. I don't want to say reinvention, reassertion, just repairing. There's been a certain repairing, a certain concession that Mr. Gandhi has earned his spurs in politics. He's walked the length and breadth of India. He's now a politician that you would take seriously, just as you would take any other opposition politician. Do you think the BJP would concede that today? Do you think the BJP looks at Rahul Gandhi differently today?
Well, I've always treated Rahul Gandhi as a representative of the Indian National Congress. The Indian National Congress is still a very formidable brand in Indian politics. Till fairly recently, it was the default party of India. So anybody with the carrying that brand name Gandhi still has a natural appeal, and it's for that person to actually destroy that appeal by scoring self goals, which is what happened in a number of cases, which is what happened in 2014, when after a completely disastrous interview, his image got shattered, and then not taking care of constituencies and things. And Rahul is a formidable player. He's a strong player. I believe that he's the tops as far as the opposition lineup is concerned. The others, Nitish Kumar may want something, Mamta Banerjee may want something, Stalin may want something. But at the end of the day, it's the
Is
Congress
that
which
the
has
is that the
the.
first time you've called him a formidable player?
No, no. I mean, look, I don't underestimate any politician. If there is one lesson which I learned personally, was that in 2004, there was a lot of people in the BJP who said at that time that, I'm so glad Sonia Gandhi must always be propped up, because with Sonia Gandhi, we can't lose. You lost despite
Right,
Sonia Gandhi being there. Sonia Gandhi
right.
may not have contributed to your did you defeat directly, but Sonia, they didn't help bolster you up. Sonia's presence didn't bolster you up. So everybody, and subsequently she was crowned sort of Mother India by everyone, etc. Now, so if that lesson is to be learned, it is that do not underestimate your opponent in any way. So Rahul Gandhi, I treat him as a significant player. He's not my cup of tea. His type of politics, that doesn't appeal to me. But yes, there are people, and the chattering classes of India, who you know very well, have been craving and yearning for a return to the Ancien regime. They have latched on to Rahul Gandhi as the symbol, as someone who can deliver
Well,
them from this great evil called Narendra Modi.
I was only smiling at the reference to the chattering classes because Vanity Fair, has a section called the old establishment and the new establishment, and I just think there's now a new chattering class and a new elite and a new Khan market gang, so to speak.